A state-private university in a green and non-toxic campus with a global pedagogy backed by the Birla legacy and celebrating the varied cultural diversities to create ethical global leaders. Welcome to Birla Global University.
कैसे बैठेंगे बताइए
We have on dais esteemed chief guest Shri Deepak Kumar Hota, Chairman Managing Director BEML Limited, Honorable Professor Alexandra Kanjo Mashala, Professor, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Ljubljana, Slovenia, Europe. Keynote speaker, Dr. Joanne Role. Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Birla Global University, Professor Sudhakar Panda. Esteemed Guest of Honor, Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi, Director, BIMTech. Revered Professor B.K. Das, Registrar, Birla Global University. Respected Professor Parmeshwar Naik, Dean, Birla School of Management, Birla Global University. Now I would like to request our student volunteers to please welcome our guests.
I want a photo with you. Look that side.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your acceptance. I salute the Supreme, who is the light in the lamp that brings auspiciousness, prosperity, good health, abundance of wealth, and the destruction of intellect's enemy, as Deepak symbolizes the cosmic force or divine light. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really fortunate to have Honorable Shri Deepak Kumar Hota, Chairman and Managing Director BEML Limited India, as our chief guest. Sir, may I humbly request you to inaugurate this international conference by lighting the ceremonial lamp of wisdom. May I also request the other dignitaries on the dais to kindly join him.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, I now take the opportunity of introducing the conference chair, Professor Dr. Bhubaneswar Naik, Dean, School of Management and School of Social Sciences and Humanities, Birla Global University. Dr. Naik, an alumnus of Delhi University with post-graduation and PhD in Personal Management and Industrial Relations, and MSW with specialization in labor welfare and HR, is an ardent professor in human resource management, an academic administrator, a corporate trainer, a management consultant, and a professional social worker. He has about 31 years of work experience in teaching, academic administration, training, research, and consultancy, including about 19 years in leadership positions such as director and dean of B schools such as BIMTech Bhubaneswar, Amity University Noida, KIT University, ITS Institute of Management, Greater Noida, besides his services at Delhi University, XIMB, and BCT IIHMR, Jaipur. He is a trained trainer with training received from institutes such as IIMs and XIMB. He has conducted over 300 training and MDPs for executives of more than 25 public and private companies. He has completed 23 consultancy research projects with funding from international and national agencies. He has traveled widely in Europe, America, Africa, and Southeast Asia and delivered keynote in conferences and guest lectures in many universities. He has received National HR Excellence Award of NIPM in 2018 and Alvina the Luke Award of Delhi University in 1989 among the awards and doctoral fellowship from ICSSR and UGC's Junior Research Fellowship with NET qualification. He has published 2 books and 25 research papers in refereed journals. He is life member of more than dozens of professional bodies and an active Rotarian. Besides his academic, as a professional social worker, he was instrumental in establishing 2 rural hospitals in India. I would sincerely like to request Dean Sir to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please.
Very good morning to all of you. Good morning. Also very happy New Year 2020. We are meeting for the first time formally. Many delegates coming from other countries. I am also meeting for the first time, so my best wishes for the new year. Honorable Chairman of the session, our Vice Chancellor Dr. Sudhakar Panda, esteemed Chief Guest, Mr. Deepak Kumar Hota, Honorable Chairman and Managing Director of BAML, a very reputed and leading PSU in the country. Our keynote speaker and my good friend, Dr. Joan Rowley, Dean of Business School of Business, the City University of Newark, who is the keynote speaker. Our honorable guest of honor, Dr. Haribansh Chaturvedi, the director of BIMTech Greater Noida, which is the mentor organization of Birla Global University. Dr. Chaturvedi is also my mentor, a mentor of BGU. Another friend, philosopher guide of BGU, Dr. Sarat Acharya, the former Chairman and Managing Director of NLC India Limited, another leading PSU in the country. My good friend, Dr. Alexandra Kunju Marcella, Professor and Head of Doctoral Program of Ljubljana University, Slovenia. My colleague and very respected Registrar of Birla Global University, Dr. B.K. Das. Of the dais, many people are equally important people. Professor Luke Sikiger, professor from Ljubljana University. Professor Dr. R.D. Sharma, former Vice Chancellor of Jammu University, Professor Dr. J.K. Mitra, former Professor and Dean of FMS Delhi University, Mrs. Mitra, Mr. Nishit Jain from EFMD, Mr. Ashish Sinha from Dubai, many people. If I name Siti and others from University of Multimedia University, Malaysia, and people from Nepal, Professor Anantanath Ghimri from Uniglove College, Nepal. Many people I see in the audience. I want to take the name, but due to paucity of time, I will not be able to do justice. I can tell you, I am speaking from my heart, and whatever words come, automatically I am just speaking, so you have to take in that spirit. I am really overwhelmed, I am indebted, I am very grateful to each one of you sitting on the dais and off the dais. I cannot express my feeling. You have responded to our invitation so kindly, promptly, and you have come here in huge number. My sincere gratitude is due to our honorable chief guest, Mr. Deepak Hota, who has kindly accepted very readily, as being a CMD of such a leading PSU. I know he is a very busy person, but he could come here from Bangalore. I request all my friends in the audience to put your hands together to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Hota. Each person sitting on the dais are equally important. I wanted to take actually 2 minutes each to describe and tell about my gratefulness, but I will limit it. Dr. Joanne Rowling, I met her in 2017 in Oxford University, and we became friends. And last year when we conducted similar conferences in the Mayfair Hotel, she was available online, she couldn't come. This time she could make it. Traveling from New York, I think changing 2-3 flights, coming here to speak for 10-15 minutes. I think she deserves a round of applause. Dr. Professor Alexandra has become really not only my friend but friend of BGU. She represents Ljubljana University. I think last year, in 2018 or 17, she visited for a similar conference. We have an MOU with Ljubljana University. With collaboration, Dr. Ado Bakins and many others have really helped us in organizing international conference of this standard. I am grateful to you. I know that you have also changed many flights to travel to India. You have your friends with you, Dr. Luksik Igor and Masa, and both of them are also here. We will be listening to them in the subsequent sessions. I welcome you. I welcome you all. Dr. Chaturvedi is a friend, philosopher, he is a part of us. But as he is a guest of honor, I will fail in my duty if I do not welcome him. I really admire and appreciate, in spite of your bad health, you could travel and come to this function, and we are looking forward to listening to you. Welcome you, sir. Another person, though he is also the part of us, Dr. Sarat Acharya, is a big man in the corporate. Now he is associated with many organizations, advising, mentoring. He is also a mentor. He is our national professor of BGU and BIMTech. He is actually he has been my personal guide and friend in advising me to organize this conference. So I owe a great deal to you, sir. Welcome you, sir. Our one Vice Chancellor deserves also a clapping because he is anyway our leader. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Das, I welcome you to this program, though you are part of my team. And many people, I welcome each one of you. With folded hand, I say namaste to you and thank you for accepting our invitation and be here. Very, very warm welcome. Of course, I have finished my job of welcome address, but being a conference chair, I am supposed to at least tell you briefly why this conference, and I will be very brief. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that we are living in the world of 21st century, which has virtually become flat. The super highways of digital technologies have made the world a global village. We are in the midst of profound economic and social transformation due to automation, machine learning, artificial intelligence. I think you know Internet of Things and whatnots. There are so many such buzzwords going on. The digital disruption is considered to be a negative phenomenon. Digital disruption should not be considered a negative phenomenon. But why it is considered a negative phenomenon? Because it has brought to us many challenges and difficulties, particularly to the business and also to the business education. Whatever may be the challenges, we must understand that this digital disruption brings to us many opportunities for innovation and creating new things. In the audience, on the dais, we have 4 categories of people. The baby boomers, the Gen X like me, Gen Y, millennials, and few students who have also registered from graduation to attend this program. They are Gen Z or super millennial. The 4 categories. I can tell you that this for Gen Y and Gen Z or super millennial and millennials, digital disruption is not a disruption, it is a need for them. But for the people like me, Gen X and baby boomers, they resist this. And because of this, these technologies have actually divided the businesses into 2 parts. One, those who are accepting this digital changes and transformations and the changes happening in the world, and they are taking benefit out of it. Another, those who resist it. But I must tell you, the fact of the matter is, how much resistance you create, world will keep on changing. It is wise that we should change ourselves, change our practices, change our procedures and systems in the businesses or anywhere that whatever we do. Therefore, when there is a need for changes and in the practices in the business, how can business education remain same as used to be in the last decade, or the Harvard or IIMs created the pattern of business education? How can it remain same? In fact, business education and management education is at the crossroad. We have to also bring lot of reorientation in the management education system. Therefore, this conference has got 2 very distinct dimensions of focuses of discussion. One is what are the challenges and issues in the practices of the business. And the second, what are the preparations are being done by the schools of management or business management education to prepare leaders and managers for tomorrow to manage such changes. Therefore, the theme is global trends in management practice, business practices and management education. We have 6 very distinctively, very clearly planned thematical presentation sessions in these 2 days conference. One, what are the global perspectives of business finance? That's very important. We'll deliver it immediately after this session. Second, what are the issues and challenges in emerging market scenario? And third, what are the sustainable innovation and entrepreneurship issues?
Fourth, what are the issues and challenges of HR in Industry 4.0 or beyond? And last one, what are the challenges and fames, global fames of management? So these are the thematic areas that we are going to deliver it on. I must mention that my co-chair, Professor Monica Salin-Gallo, the Dean of Social Sciences, Louisiana University, who was supposed to be here. He couldn't come because of her ill health. Last moment he had to cancel it. But I think Mr. Alexandra will also explain the online message of Gallo and Professor Lodha.
Dear guests of honor, dear students, dear friends, I'm really glad and honored to be in a position to address you at the beginning of this very important event on the behalf of University of Ljubljana Faculty of Social Sciences. As heard, as Professor Nayak said, our Dean, Professor Monica Kalin-Golob, is not with us because of her ill health, but she will address us shortly in a video message. She is convening her best wishes to our good work and successful conference. For me personally, it's really an honor, and I'm very happy to be here in your beautiful country of Odisha in Bhubaneswar. Once again, I was here on an excellent conference 3 years ago, and it's always nice to be in India, and especially when it's hosted on such events, well organized, and as this one and the last one I enjoyed. Being here, that is personally enjoyable, and it's personally important for me, but it is also very important for my institution. So organizing conferences like this jointly, University of Ljubljana and University of Bhubaneswar is doing something to connect to universities, but also two countries. So we are glad that we are here. I'm glad that we, two colleagues of mine, and I will have the opportunity to contribute to this very important, as Professor Nayak said, we are dealing with very important issue of both business practices and development of education for managers, and that in those times we are living of time of fast changes is crucial. So very a rich program that is in front of us, combining business leaders and people from academia in front of many students as well, is something that we could look forward to because of the richness of the program and importance of the topic. As said, we are connecting two countries, one very small, one very big, and those two countries are very far away. But I read a nice thought when I was preparing to coming here to Bhubaneswar about distance of countries and people. There is no distance too far between friends, for friendship gives wings to the heart. So I really hope that this conference and our discussion will give some new wings to our hearts, but also to our minds. I wish you a very fruitful day and 2 days, and I'm looking forward to this very good conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. With utmost delight, I would like to introduce Dr. Monica Kalin-Golob, Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences, University of Ljubljana, Slovenia, Europe. Due to some of the constraints, she couldn't make it to the conference, but we are really glad that she had sent a recorded talk to us. I would like to request a student volunteer to please kindly play a video.
I'm extremely sorry that I cannot be with you in person. Unfortunately, invisible bacteria are extremely strong and enduring. They have made me very exhausted. With bacteria, one thinks how fragile and vulnerable we are. How, despite the high technology, digitized world and information available to us in every instant, we cannot stop these small organisms. Anyway, I'm honored that the Faculty of Social Sciences of the University of Ljubljana is participating in an international conference on global trends in business, practices, and management education. We are glad to participate in reflection on how to educate in today's globalized world. A world full of crisis and inequality. Tremendous progress on the one side and great misery on the other. Knowledge and understanding of society and the change in it. Human response to the technological, information, and other innovations in this rapidly changing modern society are key if we are to change the world for the better. In 10 years, many of the jobs we know today will be gone. According to the recent survey, for example, Director for Sustainable Development is among the 5 high-paying jobs that did not exist 10 years ago. His or her work is to minimize the environmental impact of the company, to take care of responsible use of resources, and the ethical way of extracting raw materials. The desirable qualification of the 5 emerging jobs of the future include knowledge in the field of mobile communication, understanding of consumer culture and behavior, social science data, analytics, and knowledge of the organizational structure of staff. Technological development raises new crucial and decisive social issues. That is why society needs social scientists. How to educate them in a world where information is accessible at one click? Do we really need to adjust to the fact that the modern student's attention does not last longer than a few characters of the textbook? That they want to reach goals in no time and with no much effort? I believe it is the duty of modern universities to integrate digitization and technology as a tool to create a better educational process. But an even more important duty is to teach young generation to know that important things cannot be done in a snap. To teach them that lasting knowledge requires patience, study, and time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Faculty of Social Sciences of the University of Ljubljana is proud to be involved in meaningful reflections on current and extremely important topics. May our discussion make a useful contribution to making good use of the professional and scientific knowledge, thus contributing to a society of tolerance and solidarity in a more informed and responsible way. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, ma'am. We have our next speaker with us, Professor Shyam S. Lodha, Professor of Marketing, Southern Connecticut State University, USA. We can have his video to play online since he couldn't also make it to the conference. May I request our volunteers to please play his video.
Guests and esteemed speakers. First, it is my great honor to share my views on conference theme about new trends which are changing the landscape of business and management education. I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to provide illness and thereby receive the great opportunity to learn from the participants by being there. Now I take the liberty to present my views on the theme. The newspapers are filled with corporate scandals and loud protests from students and public at large, including over the globe, including Brazil, China, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, United States, Indonesia, and China. The rich are getting richer at the expense of the general public, middle classes, discipline. Environmental concerns are causing serious threat to the climate. Milton Friedman's global economist, his ideas are being shared now because he has felt that the only profitable business is to meet the shareholder needs. The globalization of society erodes established ideas and calls for fresh view concerning the rule of business that is all inclusive of the society. businesses are still guided by leaders who are all responsibility belong to the government except shareholders in interest. Now businesses are more and more being held responsible for protecting the environment and meeting immense from the goods to their immense power of wealth. Now, every business should assume broader responsibility and ensure that their actions have benefited the society and community at large. Corporate world cannot turn a blind eye to today's biggest challenges. Economic prosperity is of limited value if it is not shared by people. Business has to have social conscience and take it seriously its responsibility for doing all the best and to serve the inclusive interests of the society in which they are operating. The present forces of capitalism are under crisis and must be fixed if it is to serve the world with new demands. Conscious capitalism is not walking away from shareholders but also look at other stakeholders. They have to distinguish themselves by their commitment to ethical and sustainable business practices. They should integrate their ethics, social responsibility, and sustainable practices in their core business strategies and also serve the interests of the society at large. Indian businesses should lead the writing on the wall and take the lead in putting up a new face of business to serve the society at large. Thank you. Shyam Goyal.
It was indeed an inspirational talk from Sir. I deem it a great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Joanne Rowley, Dean, School of Business, Medgar Evers College, the City University of New York. Dr. Joanne Rowley is the Dean of the School of Business at Medgar Evers College. Dean Rowley has extensive executive leadership experience in higher education, corporate and federal government operations. In 2015, she was awarded recognition by the Network Journal as one of the 25 influential African American women in business. Dean Rowley's background includes working in multiple federal agencies, academic institutions, IBM, and consulting. In academic institutions, she has been responsible for academic leadership, academic programs, and student affairs. She has launched multiple undergraduate and graduate degree programs. She has taught courses in economics and entrepreneurship. Her skill set includes higher education administration, developing and leveraging strategic partnerships, innovation creation, small business development, disadvantaged business development, and staff development. At Medgar Evers College, under the leadership and support of President Rudy Crew and Provost Augustine Okerke, Dean Rowley launched the Entrepreneurship and Experiential Learning Lab in the fall of 2015. Since the EEL launch, Medgar Evers College teams have studied entrepreneurship in 10 countries, published in excess of 10 papers, initiated 6 international agreements, and in 2016 coached the first women to win the CUNY Wide Smart Pitch competition. Dean Rowley is sought after internationally as a keynote speaker on entrepreneurship and economic development. I would now like to request ma'am to kindly address the gathering. Ma'am, please.
Can I say?
Yes, I do. I do.
No, you have to first check with the remote power.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can speak from here because of
You can use the mic.
Because this was at the time.
Good morning. Good morning. I am so happy to be here. I just want to start off by saying thank you to the host team, the great writer Maya Angelou, who's known most for I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, says people will often forget what you say, so I expect you to forget some of what I say, but people will never forget how you make them feel. And I just want you to know today that you have made me feel so welcome yesterday and today. And I hope by the end of my talk, I can facilitate and make you feel, especially when I'm talking to the students now, like you can change the world. I'm going to start off by telling you a little personal story for the students who are sitting in the seats, the graduate students. I was sitting in a seat just like you several decades ago, maybe 3 or 4 decades ago. And I'm an economist by training. At that time, there were very few African American women economists. Actually, there were about 7 or 8 in the country. And so when I finished my degree program, I went to work for IBM. And I can tell you that my faculty gave me great training, and they were all men. I didn't have any women faculty at that time, because as I mentioned, they didn't exist. But when I went to IBM, students, I was petrified. And I was petrified not because I didn't think I was trained well, because I knew I was trained well. I knew how to take a test. But what petrified me was because everybody was different from me. When I walked into the cafeteria, and this is upstate New York where IBM headquarters was, I actually left Washington, D.C., where I was to migrate to New York City. No, it was upstate New York. I went in the cafeterias, and there were white shirts everywhere, and white men in white shirts everywhere. And I froze because I didn't understand the culture. But I will tell you what IBM got right. What they got right is that you will need different lenses with different perspectives and different people in the team to lead the world that existed then and that will exist in the future. So while you are working as individuals, one of the most important things IBM taught me was that you will have to learn how to work in teams with people who may be different from you. And so with that, even though they introduced me, I want to first introduce my team. My team is a multidisciplinary team. We have scientists, engineers, business people on the team, because in the world that we are living in, we need everybody to solve the complex problems that one individual alone can't solve. And so on the team is Professor Kasato. She's from Kenyatta University in Kenya. On the team is Professor Crump. He's our lead entrepreneurship faculty at the School of Business. On the team is Angela Reed. She's a scientist in chemistry. She's also our chair of environmental science. On the team is Professor Asivato. He's a PhD physicist from many years. In fact, we congratulated him. He's just produced 2 or 3 other physicists that successfully defended their dissertation within the last couple of weeks. And finally on the team is a practitioner, a banker by the name of Nia Rock. She has sponsored a lot of our work at Customers Bank, and she has helped us in some of our research. So there you have the team that has helped put this work together that I'm going to present to you. I'm going to ask one of the students, would you please time me? They told me I had 10 minutes, 20 minutes, give me 15 minutes, give me a 10-minute warning, a 5-minute warning, and a 2-minute warning, because I don't want to go over. You know what? I can go over, and that's what I said. That's what I said, please time me, because I want to respect the time. I'll say, what I'm going to talk talk about is trends in leadership, the skills that you're going to need in business, preparing in the unscaled economy, global income disparities, and I'm just going to talk about that a little bit. Much of the body of our work is on income disparities, and I just want to mention it to you, and we believe technology and entrepreneurship can change that. How AI, you heard a little bit from the Dean about how AI and big data are transforming business, how science is creating new businesses and collaborations, trends in nanotechnology, trends in capital and impact investing, and I'll tell you why that's important, and developing ecosystems and global collaborations in teams. That's a lot to do in the time I have, so I'm going to be fast. But what I also promise you is that I'm around for a couple of days, and if there's something I miss, you feel free to come up to me and I'll explain it. If we don't have time in the next 2 days, I'll give you a business card and you can come and see me. Okay, or talk to me. All right, this study was done by Deloitte Consulting, and they released a report in the last quarter of last year. And so if you want to see the report, you can just Google Deloitte Consulting, the Future of Work report. That's where this information is coming from. And what they said was the leading skills that are going to be required by leaders is understanding complexity. The world is very complex, has been, and understanding ambiguity. So in business school, how do we train you to understand more complexity and more ambiguity? They also say that it's coming in the future. The command and control is not going to work. You have to be able to influence resources that you don't have control over, to have those skills. They also said that it's important to be able to work in remote environments. Now, why is that important? Most of the labor population explosion is in China, is in Africa. And where else do you think the population explosion is? Students, tell me. Tell me. Oh, come on, talk to me. Did I hear it? India. Yes, that's where the population exploded. So, in Silicon Valley and Silicon Alley and all of those other places where they have a lot of opportunity and a lot of growth in businesses, they are looking where the population is going to be, and much of the population is not there. So it's going to be important to be able to create teams that are around the world. Okay? So let me move quickly. What is driving the need for change is that technology is changing so fast. So much of the technology is changing so fast that we need new leaders to be able to change with the technology. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving. Now what I am excited about is the unscaled economy. And the unscaled economy of the future includes a broad base of talent using technology such as AI, you've heard AI, cloud computing, 3D printing, virtual reality, and you name it. The technology in the future, some of which we don't even know. Instead of cloning homogeneous labor forces to support the demands of mass production, more diverse, creative, and agile entrepreneurial teams, remember I started the presentation talking about teams, or persons will cost effectively produce the niche markets even as small as units of one. So let me give you a specific example. In New York City, where fashion is king, we are now looking at entrepreneurs and innovators being able to produce not courtier fashion, but fashion for as small as one person, online, virtual, at a cost-effective price point. They now have some patents pending for this technology. So instead of buying off the rack, you can order something specifically made for you online at a cost-effective price. Okay, so modes of teaching and learning. You know what formal education is. Most of you have gone through the formal education system. What I want to talk a little bit about is self-directed learning and some of what the industry is looking at certifications and shorter period times in the learning process, and some of what the students are looking at. Students who don't want to be 4 and 5 years in a program, but want the learning in a 1 year or shorter time segment so that they can develop the innovations and technologies they need to get to market faster. And I want to give you an example of this. A young man named Scott Young, who actually had his degree and he wanted to become a computer scientist. He looked at the program at MIT. MIT put all of the courses online because what they say is it is not the curriculum itself that differentiates them. It is the world-class faculty behind the curriculum. And so you can go online and find many of their courses. Scott did that, but he didn't want to pay the price, and he didn't want to take the time. If you can, I would let Scott tell you exactly what he did. If we can go to the link now. Can we go to the link? I think it's more interesting than he says. I need voice, and I need you to go back to the beginning.
MIT's 4-year computer science curriculum in 12 months without taking any classes or even being enrolled at MIT. So today I'm going to talk about how to learn something.
Cut it. So the point I want you to get from here is this young man directed himself through 4 years. Well, we take 4 years. In 1 year, he passed all the exams. He was able to do the applications he wanted because he wanted it faster than we could deliver. And I'm saying that is more of the future to come. Can you get me back to the...
How do you understand the subject?
No,
when you start reading...
Done with that. I need to get back to the PowerPoint. How much time I got? 4 minutes? Okay. All right. So now I got to speed up. Because I only got 4 minutes. I'm not going to do much on the global wealth and income disparities, except that the top 1% and 10% is getting more and more, and the forecast for 2050 is constant in terms of if we don't change, that pattern is going to be the same. Big data, what has made big data available in storage has cost less and less, so we can get more of the data and do more analysis. There have been lots of work in the health areas, in criminal areas, in code enforcement areas, so big data is helping us to make better decisions. Both AI and big data improve accuracy in predicting trends, improve customer preferences, improve risk analysis, better operational efficiency for machinery. And this is why the corporations are doing it, because they make more money. It's improving their bottom line. Okay, so the scientists are telling us that they are helping us to create better businesses. I'm just going to speed through this because I only have 4 minutes. And Medgar Evers, we have a model where we're using the scientists, we're using the engineers, and we're using businesses to create better businesses. Did I go up? Okay, all right, so while the scientists are saying they're helping create better businesses, the engineers are saying they're helping create better science. The concept of nanoscience allows a real unification of engineering and science. Okay, I'm not going to go through that, but those are some of the areas that are being impacted. And Medgar Evers, in terms of the ecosystem that we're developing, we're looking at all the stakeholders. The money used to be, a lot of the money and funds across the world used to be in the public sector. That is no longer the case. Much of the money around the world has gone to the private sector. Therefore, if you want to address some of the public and social issues, you need public-private partnerships. And so that's just a model that we're using at Medgar Evers to develop and more innovation, more startups, and more small businesses. So, in conclusion, business trends in the unscaled future economy require development of new effective leaders that have new methods of teaching and learning. And one of the things I haven't said a lot of in the presentation is we have to learn how to listen. A lot of times, if you listen to the market, if you listen to the pain, if you listen to the needs, you will find where the new opportunity is going to be. Okay, and to meet the new dynamic marketplace, man, students must learn how to learn. We can't tell you that technology that's going to be here 50 years from now, but what we can tell you is if you effectively learn how to learn, you will be able and positioned to meet that challenge. Our choices and options for work will increase. We will have more leisure time because of the machines. Machines won't be doing everything, but they will give us more time. Lifelong learning will increase in the unscaled economy because of the change that will continue to happen and the need. And this is my final point. Industry and academic partnerships will accelerate both teaching and learning to help you, that's you students, change the world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was great listening to you, both exciting and interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I deem it my honor to introduce Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi, Director, BIMTech, Greater Noida, as a guest of honor. Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi is Professor and Director at Birla Institute of Management Technology, Greater Noida. He has more than 42 years of experience in teaching, research, and academic administration. He has been Director at All India Council for Technical Education, a statutory body under MHRD, Government of India. Being a renowned management educationist, he has been deeply involved with national bodies like AIMA, NHRDN, AIMS, and the Indian Management Conclave organized by the MBAuniverse.com. Dr. Chaturvedi is a member of Board of Governors, Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, Gwalior, Special Invitee Member, Board of Governors, United Nations Global Compact Network, India, New Delhi.
Thank you. I wanted to cut short it. I've already heard Dr. Alexandra, Dr. Golob, Professor Shyam Lodha, and they are not three, they are four, and Dr. Joanne Rowley, Dean, School of Business, the City University of New York. And I think this 2 days conference, when it is being held, this time is very crucial. In Davos, more than 2,000 business leaders and political leaders, government leaders are debating how should they manage the aspirations of the 7 billion people in the world. And before the Davos summit started, Oxfam, the well-known NGO of the world, has released, and this is a practice every year, a report titled Time to Care. The report says the world billionaires, only 2,153 people in 2019 have more wealth between them than 4.6 billion people. So only 2,153 people, their wealth is more than the combined wealth of 4.6 billion poor people of this world. 22 richest men of the world have wealth equal to all the women in Africa. World's richest 1% have more than twice as much wealth as 6.9 billion people. And very interesting fact they have given, that the unpaid care work globally for women aged 15 and above is at least US $10.8 trillion annually, 3 times the size of the world's tech industry. So the basic question here arises, and I will look towards the speech of the chief guest as well as the presentations to be made today and tomorrow, how the business leaders are going to resolve this big challenge before the world. Even the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, one of the goals is to deal with inequality and to remove the poverty, and the target for achieving all 17 SDG goals is 2030. 10 years are left. how business leaders are going to ensure, along with the political and government leaders, to achieve SDG goals, because all the governments are signatories. So this is a very big issue before all business leaders. Recently, in the month of August, on 19th August 2019, a very important conference has taken place, which is called the Round Table of CEOs in US. 200 CEOs assembled on 19th August 2019, and they have debated this issue: what is the purpose of business? What is the purpose of business? For last 50, 60 years, it has been said to our students by all of us that the purpose, or the only purpose of business, is maximization of the shareholders' value or maximization of the profit. And now the companies which have been charged for this and increasing the unmindful inequality in the world, they have passed a resolution very recently on August 19th that the purpose of business to be reimagined, the purpose of business is to reinvent it, and it cannot be only increasing the shareholders' wealth, it should be to take care of the interest of employees, to take care of the value to be given to the customers, and most importantly, to take care the interest of the communities outside the business. So this is another issue, that how these companies, and they were the biggest multinationals of the world assembled there, how they are going to ensure that whatever they have passed in the Round Table 2019, it is to be implemented by them in their corporates. Thirdly, I would like to raise this issue also, that out of 17 SDG goals, one goal is becoming a tipping point, that is the global warming or climate issue. A 17-year-old Swedish girl has created a big controversy and big discussion around the world, and in even Davos summit, she has been invited to speak, and she has been going to all the forums, traveling only by ship or train, not by the air travel, because she believes that air travel is increasing the carbon footprints. So climate issue is very big issue, and a report has been released. A report has been released which says that within next 10 years, by 2030, around 25 crores to 30 crores, means 250 to 300 million people in India will be facing the severe impact of the global warming. And this crisis will aggravate year by year, and by 2050, it has been said that around 900 million Indians will be facing global warming problem. So these three issues I am raising with the hope that the chief guest, who is a renowned corporate leader of the country, will take care and cover these issues and guide us, particularly the young millennials coming from India, from Malaysia and from Nepal, that how should they deal with these global issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Sarat Kumar Acharya, former chairman and director of NLC India Limited, India. Presently, Dr. Acharya is advisor and national professor for Birla Global University, and also is an independent director on the board of Bhubaneswar Smart City Limited. He is also an independent external monitor for Shipping Corporation of India Limited. Dr. Acharya headed NLC India, a mining and power Navratna PSU of Government of India, as chairman and managing director. During this period, he also held the position of chairman in two more companies, NLC Tamil Nadu Power Limited and Niveli Uttar Pradesh Power Limited, engaged in coal-based thermal power generation. He carries with him rich and varied experience of over 38 years of working in BHEL, NTPC, NTPC Sale Power Company, and NLCIL. Dr. Acharya is one of the few inspirational corporate leaders whose name finds place in the book Most Powerful HR Professionals of India in the 4th edition. He is a fellow of NIPM and a Lifetime Achievement Awardee by Green Tech Foundation for promoting sustainable HR and CSR. In April 2016, he received the Scope Excellence Award from Honorable President of India. in recognition of his exceptional leadership skills and contribution to nation's progress. Dr. Acharya is a thought leader and achiever in corporate business world. He is a management guru and a visiting faculty to many premier management institutes. May I now request Sir to kindly address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you, dear. I acknowledge all your good words with the humility, and I dedicate whatever was told about me, the recognitions and the achievements, to the people I worked with and the people I work with even now, from whom I keep on learning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed chief guest, respected dignitaries on dais, honored invitees, delegates, professional friends, people from the Birla Global University, the fraternity, and students, young friends, and people from press and media. My greetings to all of you. Dr. Chaturvedi, our mentor, gave us the wake-up call to think in lines of creating the incubation centers, that is the management institutes, for the future citizens, those who will not be citizens of one country, but perhaps the citizens of the globe. And that is what we will be making. So for that, basically, once we are going through the phase of Industrial Revolution 4.0, where the cyber explosion, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, automation and machine learning are dictating the terms of the business, so also the consumer behavior and the norms that we'll have to follow for keeping the sustainable growth of this planet in mind. We have to take care of the man inside and the man outside. And there, the management education goes beyond earning profit and goes beyond adding to the stakeholders' value when we talk in terms of today and tomorrow for a sustainable future for the entire planet. So this complexity of the VUCA world that we are passing through, the disruptions we are facing, those things are the new age things that a business leader has to address. And we in management institutes as incubation centers prepare the business managers, those who will not rest with only their existence, but they will drive for excellence. And that excellence for what? Excellence for creating wealth, and wealth basically is meant for creating the well-being of the society. So they will have to be told, or they will have to experience themselves, basically the other side of the profit. For earning profit, the business skills perhaps are good, and so far we have been focusing more on the business excellence. But the business excellence again is for doing good for the society, and the global CEOs meet what Dr. Chaturvedi expressed. That basically is to reinvent ourselves, that if the world will not be a place for good living, then what we are doing this generation, perhaps the next generation, will be facing a complete scenario where living will be very difficult. So keeping that in view, we have to ensure that world is going to be a better place to live, and for that the business organizations, maybe it Fortune 500, maybe the Big Five, or maybe what we call the Maharatnas India, they will have to look at the way they are doing the business and also the means for achieving the success. And there, in fact, what basically we have to teach, it is not for the fancy titles that normally the business people think in terms of the corner room, the CEO's room, the salary or the profit or a fat paycheck. For that, our education should address the issues that is basically from the assignments, we'll have to talk in terms of the action mode. From prospects, we'll have to go on the project mode. And from predictions, we'll have to go for the numbers. And from managers, we have to make the citizens. So then the course curriculum, the pedagogy of the management will have to go beyond the classrooms, to the society, to the action centers, where when we go multinational and the globalization that is happening, the opening of the economy, there our mindset has to undergo a transformation, so also the skill set, because the corporate Olympiad now that will be played in the new games of where business rules are different. So our past success is not going to repeat with the same skill set. So skill set renewal, which can harness the Internet of Things, which can take competitive advantage from the disruption, which can take the strength from innovation and creativity, are going to be in things. So that is why perhaps, and also one more thing, what we find in the past few years, we have come across many corporate scandals. The casualties are the corporate governance, so the code of conduct, the way we do business, that credibility, that sort of character building has to be there, along with, of course, all the core aspects of the leadership building that a business professional should have. But at the same time, this character building is something which has to sanitize the self, and with the self-sanitization, we'll have to look forward for sanitizing the entire business world, where again I will repeat, to use the fair means for achieving the fair end. Over 2 days, we'll be discussing how the new business rules are evolving. Over the years, we have been changing, nothing has remained static, and we'll have to keep on changing, we'll have to keep on honing and sharpening our skills, we'll have to reinvent ourselves to make the best use of the Industrial Revolution 4, not only for our own organization, which we should make into the institutions, and then the nation, and also the society at large, where our tomorrow's managers are going to live a new life with a good character for institution building, for the nation building, as every corporate leader should have the social affection now to contribute greater and more to the society, so that the business prospers and the society and the nation and the entire globe also will prosper. With these few words, I would not take the time, and I will look forward for fruitful deliberation over coming 2 days on the issues concerned, and also for the new leaders who will be challenging the status quo and who will be driving the new generations from existence to excellence by using the fair means to achieve the fair ends to create wealth for the well-being of people. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now humbly request our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Deepak Kumar Hota, to release the conference proceedings. May I request the student volunteers to kindly bring the copies of the proceedings.
Packaging is very nice.
Thank you, sir. It's an immense honor for us to have with us today Honorable Chief Guest Shri Deepak Kumar Hota, Chairman and Managing Director, BEML Limited, India. Dr. Hota is an economics graduate from St. Stephen's College, New Delhi, with a master's degree in personal management and industrial relations from XLRI, Jamshedpur. He started his professional journey in HPCL, where in a career spanning 30 years, he rose to become the CEO of HPCL Biofuels. He joined BEML Board of Directors in 2013 and spearheaded various transformational HR initiatives such as building the leadership pipeline and creating a competency framework and a customized HR management system. Dr. Hota, with his rich experience in HR and business operations,
ग्रीन नहीं हुआ हाँ अभी ग्रीन हो गया ग्रीन tap it can you hear me? Good morning. I am from Bhubaneswar, so I will welcome you with the local namaskar, and I think something was said about my having come all the way from Bangalore over here. My mother lives here. It's a chance to meet her, so therefore I am here. But of course I love talking to students of the future who are going to take care of the world and to take care of the issues that have been raised by the honorable dignitaries on the dais. I think a time has come when all of us, as whatever role that we play, we need to do some very honest introspection. What is the kind of education that we are giving, and how as parents we hold the professors and the teachers responsible for the education of our kids. I think, in the corporate world, we have always been recruiting people for skills. If I may give a very crude example of a dog who can bark, who can jump, who can kill, those are the skills that we look for when we recruit somebody. And then we try to train him for values, whereas it should have actually been quite the opposite. You educate the people for values, and thereafter the aspect of employability, I think, which has been talked of and is very relevant, I think all of you would be aware. Now, what does Birla Global or a St. Stephen's College where I went, or XLRI, what does it teach you? Now, is it enough to say I have been to Harvard? I am not too sure whether it's going to help you and keep you in good stead. You may have been to Harvard, but you are as good as the day that you do make a difference. Now, there has been a lot of talk of organizations making more and more obscene profits, and as technology becomes more and more evolved, if you have more and more of this industry 4.0, big data, artificial additive manufacturing. The other day I saw a message which spoke of humans being hacked. It is at the cross section of Internet of Things, technology and biotechnology. Can you imagine how big corporations, and corporations are becoming bigger and bigger, monopoly is becoming more and more, and all of us are hooked on to our iPhones, all of us are hooked on to our Google. But it takes a lot of courage and guts for a country like China to say, I will not have Google, I will not have Facebook. Now, but we are a democracy. Can we manage it? So these are issues that we need to look at. When you have education going to a much higher level, people have, the Maslow hierarchy of needs we have read. People will go on to higher things. How can we manage it? I remember the other day when, we have this planning commission which has now been rechristened as Niti Aayog. Our Honorable Prime Minister, he is the chairman of that. So we had Bill Gates in one of those lectures, Niti Aayog lectures. So I remember asking him, I said, artificial intelligence, what is it going to do to us? It's very scary. No, he had a very lovely reply. He said, why do you think yourself as having to work for 60 hours a week, 45 hours a week. In France, I believe it's only 30 hours, and now, as of today, they are striking to make it 25 hours. No, why would you want to work for so many hours? Maybe you want to work less and move towards more evolved things and look at AI as something which augments your entire approach to life. It makes you more potent. You can do higher order things. And if you look at AI in that way, that it augments your capacity, you can do much higher order things. In the world, if you look at today, there are hundreds of problems that there are. If you calculate the carbon footprint of all the people who've come here, especially for some of us who've come from very far quarters, my suggestion would be to Birla Global, next time you have a conference, maybe you have a little monitor there which says, what is the carbon footprint of this entire conference? The point I'm trying to make is, oxygen is required to stay alive. We all need oxygen. But if you say the purpose of your life is to breathe oxygen, does it make any sense? So for corporates, profit is very important. Profits are required for them to be in existence. And personally, I have nothing against corporations who create wealth. In creating wealth, they engage people in the process of creation of wealth. And it's not about having wealth, it's about having meaning in life. So creating wealth is not bad. It's keeping the wealth to yourself. But we've seen all these big corporations, they are investing more and more. You have more and more of AI centers, more and more of big computers. A lot of these people are becoming more and more philanthropic. So I think there's nothing wrong in, having some. There's another theory which says that today in this world, whatever wealth you have, if you distribute it equally amongst all the people, after 5 years or 10 years, you'll have the same level of inequality. So inequality is something I think can be the subject for a debate. There's nothing wrong with inequality. But what it does to the people around, what are we doing? I think instead of pointing fingers at what others are doing, if I look at myself and say, what am I doing as a corporation? I can give you an example. It was about 3 years back, single serve plastic water bottle, which we are seeing here, and we talk of carbon footprints. In one of our meetings, I realized, we have about, a lot of people come, we have a lot of meetings. I said, this plastic bottle is just too much, and after that it becomes a huge pack. And what are we doing to the world? What are we doing for posterity? What are we doing to our kids? I think we owe it to ourselves to do something. And this was before the government was talking of, in fact, recently, as some of you would know, the government was very keen to stop serving single plastic water bottles and a whole lot of others, but I think it's very difficult to do without plastic. That's what the government has come to the conclusion. So it's being continued for some time, but there's a lot of shift towards moving away from plastic. So we just stopped this plastic water bottle. We said from tomorrow, no plastic water bottles to be served to anybody, excepting, of course, people who come to India from abroad. They are very, there's a fear that are we getting the right kind of water? So we made an exception. I wouldn't like to use the word foreigners, but our guests from abroad, only they would be given plastic water bottles and nobody else. And from tomorrow, you can go and buy whatever bottles you want and all that. First, people thought this guy is cracking a joke. He's lost his mind. What is he saying? How can we do it? And today, I'm proud to say, after 3 years, we do not have single-serve plastic water bottles anywhere. I know some people, when I'm not there, they use it, but that's so much for fear, how fear also works. BML as a company, it started off as the company of which I am the chairman of, started off as a company to make earth-moving equipments. When India was becoming independent and it wanted to grow, infrastructure had to, move on. There was a lot of earth-moving and infrastructure projects which were coming up. So BML was formed to make such machines. And at that time, we had a collaboration with a company called Komatsu. And then, of course, we moved on. But the basic purpose of making BML, forming BML, was to indigenize and to have self-reliance, to ensure that in the country, a lot of foreign exchange doesn't have to go out. We would like to make it in India. And I'm proud to say, in the area of earth moving equipments, and Dr. Acharya has been a very, very coveted customer in Neyveli when he was there. We are one of the 4 or 5 companies in the world which have made a 200-ton dump truck. And it's not about making or manufacturing or assembling. I think what's important, and this is the message I want to give to the kids here, designing in India is very important. If you take somebody else's design and you do it, you will always get hijacked by profit considerations, by intellectual property right, having to pay royalty. So this was a truck that we designed ourselves, but we had one hell of a time trying to sell it. Our customer said, look, it's a very good truck, but like in all purchase, they say, is it proven? So I said, how is it proven? Unless you buy it, I cannot, I made it for the first time. What is it that you want? So they said, we want 85% availability. And I'm proud to say that we achieved 97%, and now they have given us a repeat order for another 15 number of such machines. And these machines are absolute monsters. They cost about 20 crores a piece. So imagine what it is doing to India. Under the Make in India, which is a dream of our Honorable Prime Minister, BEML really epitomizes that, and we are very proud of the fact that we make such machines. Now, why am I giving this message to the students? Most of the students would love to go abroad, do a lot of stuff, but there is a brain drain of sorts. Of course, you can do a lot of stuff for your country. I'm not saying you should not do for the world, but I think the opportunities are much more in the country in terms of learning opportunities. Today, when you are about to get placed, you will love to get a job with a big 4 consulting firm who will pay you in big dollar salary. But I'm not too sure whether you can roll up your sleeve and dirty your hands and really get the kind of satisfaction and experience of the jobs which will hold you in good stead when you move up. So like they say, you need to slow down in order to speed up. So initially, my recommendation to the young minds would be, look for jobs where you have good learning abilities, good learning opportunities. You have tough taskmasters, and do not, for heaven's sake, stick to one job. Those days when you stuck to one job and you did your stuff and you kept getting your promotion, what does it do? You are in a comfort zone. Move away from your comfort zone. Get into areas. Now, what does education do to you? They say MBA has a half-life. MBA program is about 24 months, I guess. The half-life of MBA is 18 months, which means by the time you enroll in an MBA program and you pass out, it's irrelevant. So what does the education do to you? Education helps you to stand up, learning how to learn, as Madam said. Your ability to, you have to fall down, you cannot always succeed. We have seen in the corporate world, we try to take people who are top rankers, top percentile, but these are people who are not used to ambiguities. Their tolerance for ambiguity is very low. People who are always used to succeeding do not do well in the corporate world. You should have had the courage to fall down, get up, fall down, get up. Be vulnerable. Say that I don't know. How many of us, our ego allows us to say I don't know? It's not possible for us to know everything. Today the entire world is in such an information explosion. The teachers will have to move away from the mindset that I know everything to saying, yeah, let's explore, let's find out. I don't know. Let's see, what is it? Okay, that's a good point. And given the kind of technological advances that are happening, you are going to have, I think a lot has been said, but I'll just touch upon it. The latest Business Today, if you read it, has a lovely article. It's about the future of education. And there, Rekha Menon, she's a batch senior to me in XLRI, she's the MD of Accenture. She says you need to have personalized learning. Technology makes it possible. We are moving to an era where you don't need a classroom. You will have personalized learning which will be delivered to you, and there will come a time when you do not need a teacher. So that is the future of education. Now, what are the global trends? Actually, the subject is very huge. Global trends, business practices, and management education. So I just want to touch upon first the global trends. When you look at the world today, more and more countries are moving towards becoming nationalistic. They are putting trade barriers. India seem to have lost out to China in the manufacturing race. Even though we have Make in India, we do not have factories of that scale. If I have a factory of the same multinational company operating in India, say producing 100 units, and this company does the manufacturing in China with 20,000 units, there is no hope in hell I can compete. As a result, this Make in India has become pseudo manufacturing, assembling in the country, to which we have taken it up with the government. I'll give you an example. We are also in the metro space. Metro rolling stock, you know, you have those trains within the cities which moves, metros. Incidentally, we are about 50% market share in India, and we compete against the best in the world. But what happens? The vested interests of these multinational companies which have been there for so long, they have deep pockets, they have wonderful R&D, they will ensure eligibility of a company like BEML is out. Nothing has stopped us from growing. We have had to beg, borrow, steal. We collaborated, and today we have a market share of close to 50% of the metros being made in the country. Who are our competitors? You have the Siemens, you have the Alstoms, you have the Bombardiers, you have the Rotems, you have the Hitachis, you have the Kawasaki's, you have the CAFs. And you know, students, this message is for you. You all have a mindset, I presume, because even I had when I joined the public sector, that public sectors are places where, you know, public sectors, you know, it says a lot. But mind you, these are places where you get good learning opportunities, and you should not let go of a good learning opportunity. But as I said earlier, do not join a company and expect to get married and have kids and have a nice house and a nice car and be in a comfort zone. Get out and move out of your comfort zone, because whatever you are learning today is not going to be relevant 3 years down the line. So that, I think, is very, very important. Globally, there's been a lot of conflicts. There's a huge issues of concentration of wealth, inequalities. There are climate change issues which are coming up. In our country itself, there's a lot of, you know, past which is trying to be set right. I'm not getting into a political debate, but what I'm trying to say is that a country of our size, with the kind of population that we have, which, you know, we say demographic dividend, when you have a lot of stuff happening and development doesn't happen, GDP doesn't grow the way it should, and the rest of the world is moving forward, I think as a nation, we have a lot of things to introspect and honestly do it. I should not just be happy having my own BMW and a house in Malabar Hill and going on a holiday twice a year. Some of us are. But there will come a time when these things will become meaningless. It's about what you do. So today we are in that kind of a crossroad where technology is going to augment our earning capacity, augment our ability to make a difference. And I think all of us owe it to planet Earth. This morning somebody sent me a lovely WhatsApp message. It spoke of Mother Earth, and somebody reminded me that it's 5 years old, but I'm a dated guy. So the voice of Julia Roberts, Mother Nature, she says, look, I am Mother Nature. You guys need me. I don't need you. If you don't take care of nature, it is you who's going to be affected very badly. So that really, this was 6 in the morning. I was preparing, making notes for today's lecture. I didn't want to let Dr. Nayak down, so I said, let me do some. So I immediately sent it to we have this board of directors, so I sent it, we have a committee of functional directors, I sent it to them. I said, hey, from 1st of April, after this year's business results are out, we have to care for business results, the shareholders want the dividends. Let's work on how to make the planet a better place. Can we do it? And I was surprised. One of my colleague directors, he says, sir, this is a 5-year-old video, and this video motivated my daughter, Divya, to get into environmental sciences. And she's in the US. So I was really, in tears. I was very emotional. I said, then, and he's the youngest director, I said, then you lead this initiative. We are here to support you. I'm sure all companies have these kind of conversations. And a time has come when we have to focus on these things. Planet, people, there are a lot of people who are marginalized. Health issues, education issues. We are in a rat race in the rat race, our tails are becoming longer, our teeth are becoming ineffective. So as students, if you see this entire gamut of data, you have to be very discerning as to what is it that you pick out of that and what is it that you realize doesn't make sense. I think that is what my message to you all is all about. And for educationists, I think we need to move away from the rote, R-O-T-E, to just read it and vomit it, to a bite, B-Y-T-E, bite, ability to, and this is something I picked up from the business today. This has, I would like to give the credit to the Diageo, Mr. Kripalu, MD of Diageo, the guys who make booze, lovely booze. I think all of us drink also, some of us do. So he has, so I quote him, we have to move away from rote-based education to bite-based education. Rekha Menon, she says you have to move away from this huge classroom training which is for 2 years. You have to be flexible. I want to educate myself, I want to do an MBA, but I did not have the luxury of 2 years period in which my employer will allow me to go and do the course. So can you make it personalized? Can you make it flexible? Can you make it short, sweet, based on skills? So I think this, I'm sure MBA schools are all, trying to reinvent themselves. So we need to, I am on the board of one business school, I won't name. There was a discussion once. We realized some of the courses that we have, there's 3 students, 2 students, 5 students. And there was a discussion that, look, I think we should reduce the course fees. So then I said, if you reduce the course fee, well, first of all, why do you have such a high course fee? And why did you have a program when you didn't have enough students? So the profit motive is important for education institutes, but I think we need to look at whether we are having that minimum number of students, because there's a learning from each other. You cannot have a course with 2 or 3 students and then suddenly you charge different fees. The fellows who would have paid higher fees earlier will have a problem. So I think the management institutes, the engineering institutes, they all need to reinvent themselves, and like the Berlin Wall fell, it will fall sooner than we expected it to, and I think we need to be very, very mindful of that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, sirs, for giving me this opportunity. I would have continued for long, but I'm mindful of the fact that all of us need a cup of coffee. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad that we have people and presenters, participants from 268 participants from 13 different countries amongst us today. We are glad that you could make it here on time, and it's an immense pleasure for us to have you amongst us today. So a big round of applause for everyone for making it here on time. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Sudhakar Panda. Professor Panda is the first Vice Chancellor of Birla Global University, retired as the Professor and Head, Department of Analytics.
This has been repeated once again. You say 13 countries? Yes. Esteemed Chief Guest, Mr. Deepak Kumar Hota, of Dr. Deepak Kumar Hota. It's written Mr. here. It's okay. That's maximum, not important for you. Professor Chaturvedi, in fact, who has been the person behind the setting up this global university. I was going through the BIMTech booklet, or the book, where it said the BIMTech must move to the east. And you brought BIMTech to the east, to Odisha. Thank you. Biju is your gift to the east, and particularly to the state. We have Professor Alexandra Merklo. Thank you for coming all the way to the state, and I hope you have not been put into any difficulties either on the way or here. Dr. Rowley from USA, we missed you last time, but you are here. Thank you for all the same. Dr. Acharya, Sarath Kumar Acharya, who has been a great source of help to us and to me in particular by helping some institutions. And what should I say? The man behind the entire show, Professor Bhubaneswar Naik. Working night and day, in fact more than 24 hours a day, Professor Naik could make it really global. Thank you, Professor Naik. And Professor Naik has been assisted in all possible ways by the registrar, Dr. Das. Thank you, Dr. Das, for all the logistic support you have been giving. Birla Global University today, with the participation of delegates from 13 countries, foreign countries, and with the dignitaries from abroad and from our country, stands more globalized than before. This is a landmark for the Birla Global University. Thank you, Professor Naik. In fact, in Birla Global University, we try to create a vibration, academic vibration. We organize national seminars, conferences, international seminars. Even every day, there is some type of intellectual discussion, academic discussion. Thanks to my colleagues and thanks to Professor Samson Maharana, who have been all their time helpful to this university and to all of us. Our chief guest, Dr. Hutta. Whatever you have said is lot of inputs for the students. In fact, you are not only MD, CMD of Bhat Movers, you have moved the audience. You have moved all of us. And you have succeeded in moving us and our students, participants to a higher level of thinking with all the important inputs about education, technology, and the way we look forward to the future. Thank you very much. Our guest of honor, Professor Chaturvedi, the more you listen to him, the more you love to listen to him. Why I say this? While we were talking about international seminar, this, that, and Professor Chaturvedi brings you down to the realities that we are facing today or will face tomorrow. In fact, he has rightly expressed his concern for the growing inequalities that we are not aware of, but that is happening. The recent Oxfam report pinpoints this issue of growing inequality. And I hope we take note of it, because living in an unequal world where gross type of inequalities prevail makes nobody happy. poverty is a threat, and poverty threat to any place can be a threat to every place. This is a very pertinent issue raised by Professor Chaturvedi. And what is more, Professor Chaturvedi focuses another relevant issue, that's on climate change. Well, we all experience the impact of climate change, but we are not aware of the danger of it. The impending danger of climate change, global warming. These are the important issues which you face, I face, this next generation will face. So here is an academician who thinks not for you, not for us, but for the next generation. In fact, an academician lays the foundation for generations and generations to come and generations to learn. That's what you have done, sir, in setting up BGU here in Odisha. And I thank everybody here at the dais and off the dais. I'm so happy that Professor Naik, with all his efforts, could get delegates from all over the world. In fact, it's more of a meeting of the minds. There is an opportunity for us to share our thoughts with each other and help us each other and take the understanding back home and raise issues. Thank you, Professor Naik. We hope next year it will not be in 13 countries, but it must be 30 countries. And sure, you will have the blessings of Professor Chaturvedi in all your efforts. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it's time to felicitate our esteemed dignitaries on dais. Now may I kindly request our Vice Chancellor, sir, to felicitate our Chief Guest, Mr. Deepak Kumar Hota, Chairman and Managing Director, BEML Limited, India, as a token of respect and appreciation. Thank you, sir, for your kind acceptance. Now may I request our Dean, sir, to felicitate our keynote speaker, Dr. Joanne Rowley, as a token of admiration and appreciation. Sir, please. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind acceptance. Now may I kindly request our Dean, sir, to felicitate Professor Alexandra Canjo Marcella as a token of respect and appreciation. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind acceptance. Now may I request our Vice Chancellor, sir, to felicitate Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi as a token of admiration and appreciation. Thank you, sir, for your kind acceptance. Now may I request Dr. B.K. Das, Registrar, Birla Global University, to felicitate Dr. Sharat Kumar Acharya as a token of admiration and appreciation. Thank you, sir, for your kind acceptance.
Short break. Short break. And
we have an important announcement now. I would like to call upon dais Professor Anant Raj Ghimire, who has come all the way from Nepal. We appreciate your interest and efforts to make this conference meaningful. Mr. Ghimire would like to acknowledge and appreciate the conference chair, Dr. Parmeshwar Naik. I request Mr. Ghimire to come upon the dais.
so nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to watch us. Brief. Very brief. We had
Thank you very much, respected Chairman of this session, Vice Chancellor of BGU, Professor Sudhakar Panda sir, respected Registrar Dr. B.K. Das sir, Professor Dr. Parmeshwar Naik, the Conference Chair, Professor and Dean of BGU, similarly the keynote speaker, the distinguished guests of the dais and on the dais. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for enabling us to be the part of this grand conference. As Professor Naik has told you earlier as well, we faced a lot of challenges on the way to join the conference, but still, if you have a will, you are so determined to achieve that will, everything will be possible, and that was what happened with us. Lord Jagannath has blessed us. We are on time to attend your conference as well. So no any power has restricted us to be the part of this grand conference. Thank you very much, Professor Naik. On this very special day, on behalf of Indian Globe College, I would like to acknowledge the entire effort made by Professor Dr. Parmeshwar Naik, and he was the responsible person, he was the key person who was also supposed to be the part of faculty of Unique Globe College once upon a time when he was supposed to be in one of the conferences that Unique Globe College has organized few years back. And thank you once again, Professor Dr. Naik. We have one certificate of appreciation for you from the Unique Globe family. The certificate of appreciation with high respect and dignity. This certificate of appreciation is presented to Professor Dr. Parmeshwar Naik, the conference chair, Professor and Dean, Birla School of Management, Birla Global University, Bhubaneswar, India, for enabling us, the Unique Globe College affiliated to Pokhara University, Nepal, to participate in the International Conference on Global Trends in Business Practices and Management Education, organized by Birla Global University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India, held on 24 and 25 January 2020. Dr. Norvado Vista, Principal Managing Director, Professor Radheshyam Pradhan, Academic Director of Unique Globe College. Thank you very much, sir. So we would like to acknowledge you. Sir, please. Thank you very much, sir. Please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
It matters a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now take the privilege to introduce respected Dr. B.K. Das, Registrar, Birla Global University. Dr. Das, Registrar of the Birla Global University, holds a PhD in Economics and LLB and Diploma in Business Management. He is also a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers. Dr. Das is also member of the Board of Governors of the university. He joined BIMTech Greater Noida in 2009.
It's still good morning to all of you. Another 1 minute it will become good afternoon. So I'll try to finish before it becomes afternoon. Respected Dr. Sudhakar Panda, Vice Chancellor, BGU, esteemed Dr. Harivansh Chaturbedi, Director BIMTech, Greater Noida, and Member of Board of Governor, BGU, esteemed Chief Guest, Sri Deepak Kumar Hota, Chairman and Managing Director, BAML Limited, esteemed Professor Dr. John Roll, Dean School of Business, the City University of New York, esteemed Professor Alexandra, Professor and Head Doctoral Program, Faculty of Social Science, University of Ljubljana, Slovenia, respected Dr. Sarat Acharya, former CMD, NLC Limited, and online, though they are not here, I want to take the name of esteemed Professor Monica Golub, Dean, Faculty of Social Science, University of Ljubljana, Slovenia, esteemed Professor Sam Lodha, Professor Marketing, Southern Connecticut State University, USA, and my colleague Dr. Parmeshwar Nayak, Dean, School of Management, BGU, and Conference Chair. Before I formally give a vote of thanks, I can't resist the temptation of saying one or two things. See, the thing we are discussing today in the opening thing has prompted me to say that I am also a student of economics, and I learnt during my college days that the capitalist will die because the workers will unite against the capitalists. That's the Marxian theory. Again, I learned from Schumpeterian theory that the capitalism will be highly successful, and because of its success, it may die. So this was, I was also observing that what Schumpeter said, that time will come, the lady on the floor of this factory will be wearing the same stocking what the Queen of France or England is wearing. So we have come to that stage. Now another stage is coming, that because of the highly successful capitalism in the world, again inequality is appearing everywhere, and that is a very, very, in a big way. So I don't know whether Marx was correct or Schumpeter was correct, but now we are facing the grim reality, and it's time that we have to take care of our Mother Earth. Then another thing I have seen, that whatever we had discarded, whatever we had learned, we are unlearning now again. In the sense, it's a very lighter mood, I will say. If you go around India or in Odisha, I have seen people have started selling for the students here. It will be very interesting that you must be looking for handi chicken and handi mutton. What is this? Because now again the people have preferred that the earthen pot which we have seen in our childhood days, it is coming back again. And recently I saw in Bhubaneswar exhibition, somebody was selling handi cha, earthen pot tea, and that rate was very high. So these are all, peculiar developments are taking place in this world, and maybe the next generation or after 50 years will have a very, very bad time. I mean, the major work of the people may be to search for water, to search for oxygen, as rightly told by the chief guest today. Anyway, on behalf of Birla Global University and University of Ljubljana, I have the privilege and pleasure of extending a hearty and warm vote of thanks to all for gracing the occasion and kick-starting the 2 days international conference on global trends in business practice and management education. Your presence and deliberation has set the tone for a very meaningful interaction for the conference. I thank each of you very much for being here today. No conference of this nature is complete without the presence of an enlightened audience that we have today. And I thank the faculties and representatives from the industries who have joined in this conference this morning. I also thank the scholars, students, and researchers present in the audience from different parts of the world and from India. My special thanks goes to the members of press and electronic media who have found time to cover this inaugural session. Last but not the least, my heartfelt gratitude to my colleagues, both teaching and non-teaching, and our student volunteers who have taken the task of making this event flawless. And before I conclude, I'll request the audience to give a big hand to our Dean, School of Management, Professor Nayak, for taking all the pain to make this conference a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have now come to the end of the inaugural session. We will now break here for tea, which will be served outside. Please do come back and join us for the first session on thematic presentation on global perspectives of business finance. And I will request all the paper presenters to be ready with the presentations. We will be starting in the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much, everyone.
The paper presenters of session 2, please upload your PPTs and be ready with your presentations. We'll be starting very shortly.